So I just finished watching Christian Mingle, the movie, and wow, yeah, it was really terrible. First of all, most of the actors were pretty bad. The main actress was fine, but everyone else was pretty terrible. Also, the plot centered around the woman lying about being a Christian because she meets a guy in Christian Mingle and she likes him. So there's like some stuff that's meant to be funny in the beginning about her like not knowing how to pray or not knowing where stuff is in the Bible. But then, of course, the movie takes some weird turns because then it becomes about her actually wanting to have a relationship with Jesus, not being in a relationship with the guy, but it's a Christian rom com. So, of course, she's going to have to end up with the guy. So it's all packaged in like a pretty typical evangelical, uh, this is God's plan and everything was the way it was supposed to be, blah, 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 blah. And mixed in with that was the fact that she worked in advertising, and I think we're supposed to have the idea that she's super materialistic and like kind of a cutthroat ad exec who will do anything to sell, like a Don Draper, I guess. But none of that's clear. She actually seems like a totally fine person from the get-go, which becomes problematic because there are all of these things that are supposed to happen that are supposed to contribute to her character growth, but her character doesn't really have anywhere to grow. She's already nice, she's already sweet, she already has a good group of friends. Like there's really not anything in her life that's particularly bad. The only thing that's going on is she doesn't have Jesus. And I think that actually is a pretty big indication of a flaw with evangelical theology, right? As we think that like we can take whatever our lives looks like and we can just sprinkle some Jesus into it and then everything's better. Um, Rather than trying to ask what it would look like for the gospel to completely challenge who we are and how we're meant to live. None of her lifestyle is challenged by Jesus himself. Again, there's maybe some indication that she's not happy with her ad job, but it's not because she's doing anything illegal or immoral or anything like that. It's because she never wanted to do that in the first place, and she always kind of wanted to be a teacher. And so in the end, she moves to Mexico and becomes a teacher, which is fine, but it doesn't have anything to do with Jesus, right? Like she could have just done that without Jesus. Mexico is the other big problem part of this film. So for some reason, Paul's family does this mission trip where they go to this village in Mexico that was destroyed by a hurricane and rebuild it, and they invite her to come along. And basically, this devastation and tragedy that happens in Mexico is used exclusively for her character growth, right? There's a scene where a young Mexican girl asks about the problem of evil, right? Why do bad things happen to good people? Why did God allow a hurricane to destroy our village? And then, like, not only is that ignored, but it's actually used as the catalyst to show that this young girl, that this woman doesn't really know Jesus and doesn't really know the Bible. So it's not at all about addressing this young woman's pain, the devastation that her villages face, no doubt the lives that were lost, the continuing suffering that they endure. It's all just about showing that this wealthy, privileged white woman who's come down there on vacation chasing a boy isn't as honest as she could have been when meeting someone for the first time. And then, of course, she moves down there and teaches these kids, even though she doesn't know Spanish or anything like that, right? It's all about what's going to make her feel better and what's going to bring her a sense of fulfillment, not even about finding Jesus among the Mexican people, which actually would have been a more interesting thing to do, is in that her exposure to Christianity largely being white evangelical, and then actually finding an authentic encounter with God when she was somewhere else. Well, there could have been something going on there. At least she went to a black church, I guess. That actually did some pretty cool. Seemed like a church I did enjoy going to. But anyway, yeah. So the movie was bad from like a script and directing level, but it was also very bad theologically. It was really painful to sit through. Like at one point I checked, it was an hour and a half movie, and I was like, surely there's like 10 minutes left. There's like 30 minutes left. So man, this one really hurt, y'all. Worth it to raise money for Art Distillery. Thank you for all of you who have given so far. Still got some real stinkers ahead, so we're gonna kind of grin and bear it. But yeah, thanks again.